Will Envy walk away with their first win here today? Will we be able to see if Ghost stick in that #1 spot? Or will it be time to see also how NRG and Rogue get on? They are our matches for today. It is time for the North American Pro League, and I cannot wait to get this show on the road.
Down for Nitro, gets the ace!
The only one sees the shadow, gets the shot, gets the follow-up. It's target practice for Fur.
3 players in, Zipex comes through. Astralis, they've done it!
It's week 2, it's match day 6, and plenty more games to come your way to see who is going to be making their way to Odense for the Pro League finals. Natu, you're still hanging in there.
Pretty
still
good
alive.
pronunciation, by the way.
Hey, I'm getting better, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Odense.
becoming a Scandinavian.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean, I'm a Scandinavian. I can't do that, so I don't really know how that, you know. Danish is a bit of a different beast.
Yeah, not quite the same. Everyone thinks you guys are all the same, but it's very different.
Yeah, I mean, the Finnish language is related to Estonian and Hungarian, so it has nothing to do with Swedish.
There you go.
Or
Not
Danish.
even close. You're just semi-close in distance.
Yeah.
You're sounding better today, though. You feeling okay? You feeling better? You hanging in there?
You know, when you have the medication on point.
Yeah, we went and picked up a hell of a lot of that. Watching this man is like going to a drugstore of like, he has everything. Pills, coffee drink things, the tablets, the nose sprays.
Yeah.
I've got tissue here for you, mate, as well, if you need it. There you go.
Brilliant.
Always got to look after you, you know. Keep it going. But today's games, Natu, we're in for some bangers, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's going to be fun to see teams like, obviously, compLexity, first off, and Envy, I think, is the second interesting one. Both these teams, they're playing one another, right? But they're both very interesting in the sense that we've only, the sample size of Envy is very, very small. We've only seen them play 4 maps in the Pro League, and that's all we've had. Yeah. Obviously, they haven't won a single one yet, but, you know, is that going to change? They've had some time to practice now, maybe get that chemistry going, and we could see them. I think they have an opportunity here, because compLexity, on the other hand, after that great major run, has been abysmal. They've not really been able to deliver ever since. Massively.
Then we got Rogue going up against Renegade. Sorry, Ghost going up against Renegades. I'm reading down the wrong side of it. The Ghost lineup, right? They've impressed us. They've beaten off MIBR. They've had 2-0 victories across the board. They've looked like a really strong contender so far. And this is the first time we actually get to see Steel actually compete in Pro League, given his past.
Yeah, no, that's actually an interesting thought when you think back, you know, how long he's been playing Counter-Strike. Yeah. This is his first Pro League season. But no, I agree. Ghost has definitely been a surprise package. They play good Counter-Strike. We already saw that in Stockholm, obviously. Big victory against Navi. Took Navi to the wire in a best of 3 as well. So it could be easily actually beating them in that best of 3. Renegades also, obviously, they're high up there in the Pro League, and they've had their honeymoon. They're having their honeymoon period right now, if you will, with Gratisfaction and ESL coming to the town. Yeah. They went to Starladder. Obviously, maybe not as good as they wanted to, but I feel like that's good experience for them. Something they needed to. Having that kind of an event for them where, you know, a lot of games they get to play in a Swiss system, obviously, that's going to help them tremendously building chemistry, building that team play.
And I think also you got to say, right, for the Renegades lineup in general, you had 2 players who are not used to that high pressure playing against this caliber teams on a regular basis. Yeah. Okay, you see it through qualifiers or maybe the IM Sydneys when they've been there. But in actual individual skills, this was a huge test for both players. Gratisfaction, we saw some good work from him. Lea's had some games, but this is a whole different ball game from what they're used to.
And on top of that, having Azar as the in-game leader, obviously, is big news change. Too. Obviously, hasn't done that before, and it's a big taking when you have to start. You know, I've been in that situation actually back in the day where basically I never really wanted to be one, but it ended up being one because no one else wanted to take it. I'm not sure if that's the case with Renegades as well. And then you kind of learn to do it. You kind of it takes some time though, because obviously when you have to start thinking on behalf of 4 other people basically on the server, take all the information everyone's giving you and then applying that to your game plan mid-round, it takes a bit of time to get everything going. But no, so far actually they've been a bit positive surprise. Honestly, I wouldn't have expected more than from them that what we've seen so far.
And what you're saying there about in-game leaders, I can go back to when I was first ever an in-game leader, and I was a little bit like, oh, I put myself in a good position. That's not the way to do it. That's not how you want to do it. And at least for Az's point of view, he's got to work these new players completely into it. Yeah. Now, looking at our final match of the day as well, the NRG versus Rogue story. NRG, okay, StarLadder did not go the way they expected or the way they would have wanted. But you've got to say that, okay, yesterday they showed us that still they can bounce back, they can come back. We can see the players actually work and kind of, I think we just need to see a little bit more from Cirque on the online side of things. And then you'll see NRG kind of close out the games a little bit easier than what we have done.
Yeah, definitely. I think that they're a team with a lot of points. They're a team that usually make the good decisions, actually, in mid-round situations. And I feel like, you know, like I said yesterday, it's more for them. It's a mental thing that they've not managed to get through, especially in a LAN environment. I think it's obviously very, very different when you're playing online Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
So they probably don't have that issue. So I feel like, you know, there's still more to be seen from this team. There, for me, in this Pro League season, you know, amongst Liquid and EnVyUs and those type of teams, you know, NRG is right there. They're not that far off in terms of what you're supposed to expect from them.
Well, as we get into match day 6, let's take a look at exactly where these teams currently sit in the North American Pro League. So you have it here on your screens. We've got Ghost Gaming leading the charge 7-0 with the in terms of overtimes, then 1 loss. Yeah, not expected at all, right? Then you've got Liquid there. Okay, we've seen Liquid had a little bit of a struggle, but yesterday they looked good. They looked strong. Renegades are quite far up there. MIB are in a nice spot, but you should expect that. They just had a really slow start considering their first game against Ghost. They got wrecked on. This Cloud9 roster, though, right? Being in 5th place, given all the stuff they're going through at the moment, it's quite respectable. Like, it's not what you expect from a Cloud9 roster in terms of we usually expect them to be towards the very top end. But given all the roster changes, how much they've had to kind of delve into swapping players, Skadul now going in for retirement, this is a very interesting scenario for this team.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, you don't necessarily expect, like you said, them to be all the way at the top, in the top 3 maybe, but for them to go through into the finals is something that you can actually expect from these players, just only because they have so much experience, they have so much individual skill that they should be able to overcome most of the teams here in the league. Obviously, it is getting a little tougher in terms of, I feel like the competition in NA is definitely getting 100%. Better. It's definitely getting harder for teams to, you can't just cruise control your way through.
Now, one quick question before we move on. Do you reckon Cloud9 will add another Swede to this roster? Do you reckon that's the way they're going to go?
I mean, at this point, you know, they're bringing up the Fnatic boys, basically, and then you just have a couple of Americans on top of that. I don't know, really. I mean, that's some rumors that I've read somewhere that's a possibility. Maybe that's just a wild guess, considering the fact that Flasha and Golden are on the team. Whether or not that's going to be a good idea, considering, you know, kind of Draken as being a player that seems like he obviously has the skill, maybe sometimes inconsistent and stuff, but you know, he's kind of being sidelined from teams due to other things apart from actual gameplay. It feels like.
You know what time it is for now. It's our favorite part of the day. It is going to be time for our Vodafone pre-match here for us to break down our first game of today.
Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Oh yes, Vodafone pre-match time, and we're going to be looking at our opening game in compLexity taking on Envy. Like you were saying here earlier on, Natu, this compLexity lineup, okay, good showing at the major. They make it to the Legend stage for the first time. Big hype built around them. But they kind of fell short at StarLadder. This is their opportunity to come bounce back on the online side of things. Yeah. And going up against an Envy who we know very little about, haven't played too many matches, haven't won a single game of the roster just yet either, which is... okay, you can give them a bit of wiggle room for it. Yeah. But they need to start performing now.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I mean, going in this first match is going to be cash. I feel like that might be a bit of a hard one because that's usually a map that compLexity has been playing really well on. But at the same time, you think of the players from the lineup of Envy. You got JDM, you got Nifty. I think those two usually have... you know, they've had some tremendous moments on a map like Cash. So that usually translates, actually. You know, believe it or not, but it usually does. When a player is feeling comfortable on a specific map, even in a different setting, it usually translates. So I would imagine that this is going to be a map which is one of the more played ones for Envy down the line.
And the thing with Envy, right? They've only played this map once. They played against Team Liquid, okay, the best team in North America. You can understand why that ended up being a loss anyway. But you haven't won a game yet, but you're still an unknown quantity, right? It's not like you can see compLexity go, oh, yeah, we can kind of look at how they're playing, look at previous demos. They've got to kind of go into this with just an open mind of playing their own game, right? Yeah,
I feel like when you're in this situation, the team is super fresh. You have so much to worry about in your own gameplay that it would kind of be silly if you started anti-stratting or start thinking about too much about what your opponents are doing. You know, make sure that you're doing your things correctly because that's should usually, obviously you take some tendencies here and there that you can apply to your gameplay, but in generally speaking, I feel like they got to make sure that they're doing their things really, really well for them to be able to be competitive. You know, even if they wouldn't be picking up a Bad Moon here, I'm expecting them to be competitive. I feel like, you know, you want to make sure if you're Envy that it's going to be a close game, because that will give you that positive signal that we're definitely doing things right. Because I feel like, you know, even though compLexity has had a tough time, I think Cash is a map that they usually feel super comfortable on, and Stanislav seems like it's a map that he's always been solid on as a leader. So I feel like that might be too tall of an ask at this point in time. But it's been, you know, they've had a week and a half to practice, Envy has, so you know, things might have gone forward quite a bit. Obviously, for a new team, that it takes more steeper steps than it would when you're talking about a team like compLexity, who already have the chemistry. They already have a lot of things that they've learned before.
Well, this is the scenario, right? Envy can have a little look at what compLexity have been doing and maybe take that into their own game to try and counter-strat them here. But before we go any further, we're going to take a quick look at Envy, because they may have been from Europe, but now we have the North American lineup. Take a look at this.
If I say Team EnVyUs, you'll probably think about stuff like this.
And it's not looking good.
Oh, and a second headshot there. Flamey gonna be gone. Hiroshima, and there it is. Executive down. Envy winning the last major of 2015 and the second title in a row here.
The legendary French roster that dominated the CSGO scene before the AWP nerf, the one-shot revolver, or the Panorama update, Team EnVyUs was feared by many, and with players such as Kenny S, Apex, Kiyoshima, NBK, and Happy, you can understand why.
Plant potential. Watch Kenny drop down. Hits exist up close. And it's Ketright versus Kenny. What a tantalizing 1v1 spotted up. Oh, Kenny! That is unbelievable!
But the French era came to an end, and in 2017, the third French shuffle ended up sending Kenny S, NBK, and Apex to G2 Esports. That left Team EnVyUs in such a bad shape that the organization in early 2018 chose to part ways with CSGO. But only for a while. On September 27th, it was announced that a new EnVyUs CSGO team would be formed, but not with French players like it used to be, but an all-out North American roster instead. With players from the former Splice team and two well-known faces in Nifty and JDM, the new-look Team Envy will once again chase the status of what they once were.
Canadians in the server, and we've got two Canadians joining us on the desk, Launders and Scrawny. It's time for you guys. Very good. Could have a new Envy lineup. Do you guys reckon filling in? You can maybe
Listen, I'm not hoping anyone does any bad, but if there is a spot, you know what I'm saying?
Hey!
He's been deathmatching. What are you, B+ on ESEA?
I'm working on it.
Working on it, so.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Full Canadian roster. We could bring our commentators into that. Would you prefer commentary or gaming?
The reason we talk about games is we would rather be playing.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's be real.
Yeah,
we tried playing at one point.
Yeah.
Well, what we're going to see here from Envy, right? A lineup that we don't know much about. They've not had great results, but they have had some tougher opposition, right? You go up against Ghost and Liquid in your opening 4 games. Now they're going up against compLexity that hasn't looked so strong. Do you feel like this could be the first win we could see on the board for Envy?
What's the last thing you saw that compLexity played in?
Starlighter.
Starlighter,
and they were a little bit,
0-3.
oh, no good, huh?
Yeah, they got wrecked by NRG, Big, and Renegade, I believe.
You think when your team gets sticker money that they're just going to fall off? That's just wait 2 months, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
But seriously, where do you reckon this is going to go, right? Do you think Envy have got an option here to kind of challenge a compLexity that we've seen maybe underperform since the major?
I don't know. I believe in the lineup with compLexity. I didn't think they'd get so far so quickly, but I really do think they have a good lineup, so.
I think it's a grind. I mean, I think they maybe got a little bit too much at the major. I mean, I think like that there's been good signs, but they obviously, as far as they went at the tournament, the expectations obviously skyrocket at that point in time for themselves too. They put pressure on themselves, and then if things don't necessarily go well in a match, then it might become a little dicey for them. Then decision making starts crumbling, and so on and so forth. So I feel like you gotta give them a bit of time. I feel like they have a good system with Rambo, they got Warden, 2 legendary names in the game of Counter-Strike who definitely know what it means to win in the game of Counter-Strike. So I think it's a bit of a bump on the road. That's the way you just gotta look at it.
And given what compLexity's done so far for EPL, right, they would need these additional points to see them push up further. They shouldn't be dropping games to a team like Envy, where they've got at least the history and the storied lineup there, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree there. But I don't want to take anything away from EnVyUs either. I don't think that this will be necessarily an easy match for compLexity unless we see some of their stars kind of punch back into the skill ceiling that they showed us they have with the major. You know, I'm looking at for guys like, you know, like the supporting roles, not just Ye dropping 30 kills like can sometimes happen. I want to see Android back up there at the top. I want to see Def having strong performances like they did, you know, when they started qualifying for these lands prior to that major run. So, you know, there's definitely a little room for them to work. And hopefully tonight is where they actually show us that they are still capable of squashing the lesser opponents, because that's what we hope from compLexity. We want to see again a continuation of that great run.
Well, let's see if that's how it's about to go down. Launders and Scorn, it's time for you to open up our first match of day 6.
And we're going to be doing so on Cash, Launders. This makes things all the more interesting for me. I think on an individual level, Team Envy actually have some pieces that I always love watching on this map in specific, and I'm immediately going to mention Drone.
Yeah, Drone's a fantastic entry fragger. We saw him light up the server last time that we watched them play, and that was awesome because I think Drone really needs to find his place in the roster. He was a player who was just one of those. He was kind of like a Ye or even like a I don't know, a Sick or a Vice, where he just had such like a fast rise up until a point, then got into Pro League, and then, you know, speaking to him, he feels like, you know, at that point he was worried, you know, has it been too long since he just was last considered very explosive, and so. Right. Now in Pro League, I think it's a great opportunity with the new lineup and everything to shine once again.
See, I think somebody like Android was kind of like that too.
Definitely, yeah. He probably has the same thoughts.
But then obviously with their Face It run, that was kind of a new chapter for them. But that was one of the biggest successes they've ever had on one of the biggest stages they've ever played at. So yeah. You know, I don't doubt compLexity at all, and I'm honestly not too shocked that maybe there were some struggles after such a fantastic run. But let's see if they can improve that here as they hit up the B site. They only had Sempus to deal with, so Ye burning him to a crisp is one thing, but Drone's in the back of the bomb site. Supposed to be a little more difficult to clear, but in fact he does die. And then it is traded, because Nifty's got some positioning on Heaven, and it's still Team Envy in a 3v3. Retakes on. Kits with Nifty. No utility for Cutler or JDM, unfortunately, for them. So they're going to have to come out this doorway pretty dry. And they've been given a lot of space. compLexity allowing for them to walk up headshot. And it's at that point Android decides to cut them down. Good after plant there from compLexity, getting all 3 kills and losing no one further.
Really difficult after plant to deal with if you don't have those 2 smokes that we see teams throwing from Heaven, where you can smoke off B main and checker at the same time. Once you can do that, coming up headshot's a lot easier, but if Ye is going to be in a position from B main where he can watch you run up headshot, then it's impossible. It's one of those angles, those off angles, that if he holds it, there's no way that he gets cleared. And, you know, it's at that point where they have to start worrying about the site. So it's tough to deal with in the 3v3. And even though it is 3v3 without utility, I think it was very T-favored. So now we have a 5-stack over in the B site. All of the CT is going to sit and wait here. They have no information, and they don't have a way to disincentivize disincentivize compLexity from going to A site. So looks like compLexity have decided to scout out. They're going to find out that A is quite clear. The bomb will probably go here. Going to be what's likely to be a 5v5 after plant, and they're going to know that it's going to be a stack in B, especially since they have eyes on the push outside B as well.
You know, we talked with the most recent changes to Counter-Strike as well, which teams were deciding to save their money as opposed to go into the early forces.
Looks like the Android's holding onto the plant so that they can make sure they get close enough to kill everybody.
I mean, it makes sense. You still have the Smack 10 in play. Soak up the cash, but CTs eject the other direction, so they run straight into Ye. He gets himself a trio. We've got assists for Shazam and Stan. And like you said, holding off on that plant definitely enabled them to mop it up.
I like that they perform the contain. I like the stack from Envy as well. I don't think you need to overthink it sometimes. You can go and try to convince people to come to your site, but sometimes that backfires. I like that sometimes you just want to play 5 people on a site, see if they come to you. So that was a very viable strategy from Envy. Here in round 3, Op is going to go up on the boost, but Shazam is immediately mollied off. Luckily, it doesn't take too much damage. And now it looks like Drone will have some pressure applied to him. He's just in front of the molly, but is confident enough not to move. And wow, that's actually going to be huge for him. But with this flash coming out, I don't know if that's going to change things.
Looks like it will. Screws over the first 2 keys, trying to get themselves into the checkers. He has to extinguish his teammates' flames because it was about to spread to his feet, but he's still pinned in. You can see Nifty getting slightly closer in order to help with what would have been the push from Ye, but Ye's decided to change directions, and compLexity have established themselves mid-control. It's actually Android who's taken the initiative and walked up towards White Box. Def looking to skewer the A site with him, once he works his way up highway, but he needs to get up that lane first, and he's gonna hope that Def doesn't die in the meantime. So far hasn't, but the CT stands still. Nobody's moving anywhere across the map. There's the push. Android's finally gotten upward, just flicks back onto Cutler. And then we got some trade frags shining forward from Semphis, manages himself both. So highway completely nullified, and it all falls onto Def. That first point of contact that never got out of the door is now all that's left, and he never gets any further.
Yeah, very clean stuff. Nice round from Semphis, 3 frags for him, a couple of them coming from the truck to stop the highway push. You know, if he dies there, it's pretty much over, and Android gets a ridiculous entry onto, I think it was Shazam, who was sitting in front of A main.
I believe so.
I believe so. And, you know, he had no business getting that kill. It was a great off angle from Shazam, so that could have changed things entirely. But now we have what is going to be a rifle round. Shazam only has a deagle. I don't know if he's got another, that's just his sidearm, or if he has a primary to go with it. But it seems like maybe he only has this one deagle.
I mean, listen, we watched Nafly work a P250 4K yesterday.
But Shazam isn't dead inside like Nafly. He doesn't.
He is still dead, though.
He might not be quite as disappointed in his opposition as Nafly is.
It was just the deagle that died first, but JDM does one better. Gets himself a 5 versus 3 with that AWP, and that was alone in mid. He had no support towards Z. It's only at this point that we see Semphis decide to change positions there. And he's met by Android.
Yeah, the options are limited. I want to know, does EnVy decide to push or hold on to their spots? They really don't have a reason to. The thing is, it's funny because, you know, 5v3, it's safer to push because there's going to be less chances that someone's waiting for you to push. But then you're also running a risk for almost no reason. And if it is the off chance that a player is waiting for you, well, then you lose a man and you make it a little bit stranger. But here it is, the B split. Very simple stuff. 2 players on the site. The smoke is a little bit late. Drone has to go back and jump on the back box.
Give him a little bit of vision over top. It's not going to stop Ye from charging right into the back line. Gets himself 2 as Android clears the man off the first site. It's Drone to use that element of surprise, but only for 1, leaving it into the clutch. Cutler versus Android. And Bradley's going to plant that bomb right behind the boxes, takes a bit of chip damage from the nade, and that's not going to stop him. Cutler slain as he walks out from heaven.
You could see how Android was just cutting, just julienning that angle, you know, making sure that if he was going to peek into heaven, he was going to have to go up against the slightest amount of body that was shown, and it easily just eliminated him in the 1v1. 6-1 now, 6 kills, 1 death for Android, doing extremely well. A round that EnVy should never lose, obviously. 5v3. It was a simple B split. Mid control is the only thing that compLexity had going for them, and they made the most of it. So there is that to say, but there is, you know, Ye had no business getting both those kills in CT spawn, and then obviously the clutch on the site was too nice.
2 players that really combined in the previous round to make that happen. Ye and Android. You kind of look to them as that core firepower for this compLexity lineup. A lineup that I think a lot of people kind of never thought had that level of firepower, but boy, did they ever show what they can do. I love the fact that Ye has this kind of, you know, bubbling confidence in his gameplay. See him make a lot of ridiculous pushes through smokes. He'll take that front runner position. Essentially, he'll just destroy your backline before anything happens. And the next thing you know, you've lost a round, just like this time. EnVy not losing their backline, but rather assuming the position. They walk away from the A site before compLexity even goes in on this. And because of that, it's a 4th to the T's.
Yeah, just another gamble, but compLexity look to mirror their previous anti-eco where they go towards A. I think they just like, once they have mid control, they are intent on constantly bullying the site. And as for EnVy, you know, they make a gamble rotate. They just don't have a lot of info. It's totally fine, totally normal for them to do it. And EnVy are obviously going to be a little bit upset that it is the wrong site that they went to stack. But for compLexity, a sigh of relief will be breathed. Breathed seems like a weird word. That's not a good casting word. That's a strange word to say. Breathed.
Breathe.
Just gonna go ahead and eliminate that from the vocab.
It is breathed. I'm racking my brain.
It is breathed.
Yeah, I've decided.
But if you really want the whole word to be heard, you have to say breathed.
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 You're getting flashbangs to breeze.
You say flashbangs?
I did say flashbangs instead of flashbacks.
Getting smoke grenades to breathe.
Yeah. A pistol out of the way, and unfortunately for Envy, like we said, the stack that didn't seem to work out, and I doubt they buy off of this.
Yeah, just spending a little bit of money here.
A little curb purchase.
Why not?
Dig into the bargain bin and come out with a couple sets of Kevlar, a nice collection of utility, and hell, even some pistols.
I would like to compare the eco strats that Liquid had versus the ones that other teams are using. Like Envy, here they're buying Deagles. A lot of teams are buying Deagles, but almost always when I see Deagles, I think, wow, you could have gotten, you know, a smoke and 2 flashes. And it's like, well, what can you do with that kind of utility, you know? And let's say, for example, we've got Tempest, who has 2 flashes and a Deagle, could have got smoke, 2 flashes, and a P250 instead. Yep. And, you know, what could you do with that? So, I mean, at a CT side, it's a little different, but it seems like Liquid are trying to push the envelope in terms of innovation.
Nifty uses the Deagle. The price difference is justified for him at least, but will it be the same for Semphis? Because he's used the utilities and finds nothing further off of that. It is Stanislaw with the anti-eco frags. JDM with the backline push is denied any further entry. So 4 up here from compLexity, a 5th round onto the board. And finally, we're going to watch EnVyUs come back in here with a buy. And it immediately involves 2 ops.
2 ops, JDM and Nifty. This is their comfort zone, obviously. So I want to know what they're going to do with it. I think in the previous rounds, and one of them, I'm not sure who it was playing mid. And here on this round, we've got number 2 man. He is over at B, and JDM is at mid. Okay. So his teammate will leave him. So they're going to go into a standard 2-on-2 setup. One of the ops is playing from the Sugar Cube, the white box, the Marshmallow. And Nifty can hold down B in case there is some type of split. Very standard. compLexity playing slow is a great sign for Envy, but they haven't used any of their utility early on.
Right.
So they'll probably do some late exec at mid if they don't go for a full take. compLexity, I think they saw good success going mid in the first place. Even won their 3v5 that way. So once things cool off, it's very common for CTs to evacuate mid almost completely, making it very easy and a lot more cost effective to take later on in the round.
That Molotov is actually thrown from the truck player and it bursts right on the door, not allowing for Def to keep his eyes on Forklift, where he used his molly to burn a player out. So because of that, we see the repositioning of the A site not come at a cost of life. Really good little team play here from Envy in the utilities.
I think they threw some smokes over towards A.
Gonna burst out. Android managed to get past the Forklift, so with that forward positioning, he's managed himself a kill. Can get another. JDM removed from the top side. So a 2v2 with a bit of health HP advantage for the favor of Envy. They've got their utilities as well. There's still some grenades for compLexity, but those are dwindling quickly. And they look uncomfortable. You can see how Stanislaw is trying to assume some sort of a position. Not the best of spots to be in, but could most certainly catch someone off guard. Drone's gonna walk up from highway. That could be the duel, but he loses it. So it's gonna fall onto Android. He's gonna need another clutch and a 4K on top of it. The time's helping him out though. It's already 2/3 of the way gone, and a Molotov could ensure this, but Nifty has the smoke, and Drone gets the kill. He hops right on with the kit on him, and in the nick of time, they'll take this defuse. That's a 2nd round for Envy.
Yeah, a lot of people would have seen danger when they see the Molotov go down, but Drone saw an opportunity. He thought, okay, if he's going to molly this off, he's going to try to separate these engagements. He's not going to assume that we're going to run the risk of going through the Molotov, and that means he's probably not going to be looking at me. And so I like the play there. I was proactive in the 2v1, excuse me, and compLexity, although they had a pretty good site take and they got the bomb down, the 2v2, they needed to win in each of those duels. So now Envy pull out a 2nd round. They hang on to the double op, which is critical. I think they only had, I don't know if they were able to recover both of them. They know one of them was at A. The other might have been at mid, so it could have been okay, yeah. Maybe they didn't have to spend extra money on this. No head armor, but it's all AKs for compLexity, so they won't be worried. Shazam here poking around at mid. This boost is just simply for the player who plays behind white box to be able to see more than just his head.
For what I believe is the first time it's actually Def to pick up an opening kill from Squeaky Door. We've seen him consistently applying his pressure, and he'll even do one better. Nabs Cutler on the aggression.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be happy to see this.
I think. But Drone gets a chance at a duel until Ye has denied him. anything further. So 5 up for compLexity, and if Envy lose this, then again, that is non-consecutive rounds, and they bought into the double lock setup, so it comes with a hefty price tag. And unfortunately for JDM, he's flanked right now by Ye. So that's a 6, the reset, and the money's not looking all too hot here for the CT side. This is a dire spot to be in with a runaway T side so far from compLexity.
A couple of questions I have for that round are why weren't they able to kill Def? We didn't know what happened with the first kill, but it didn't seem like there was a flash accompanied on the second peek, and I don't know if they just thought, okay, he's probably low, so let's go peek him, or they thought he was going to throw a nade or something, but they needed to kill Depth just straight up 2v1 there, and Depth did such a fantastic job holding. And then on the B site, Drone seemed to be pretty confident that there was somebody in Sunroom, but then had no one to support him for the trade. And when they threw the smoke down, was he 100% sure there was someone in Sunroom, or was he just doing his due diligence by trying to clear it carefully? Would be another question that I have.
Such a nuisance, Yay. Love watching him work alone. But Drone has bested him with the USP. So a single casualty versus compLexity and an AK in the hands of Semphis. All the while, compLexity starting to work their way into the A site, and that frag versus Cutler is going to open it wide for the bomb, which means a 7. And another successful anti-eco. Team Envy haven't been doing a good job of kind of shaking them up when they go into these business purchases.
It's true. And not even doing damage, right? They get contained.
Yep.
The compLexity have all the room in the world to work, and then they are able to have them isolated in a site that they want them to be in, and then they take their fights on their terms, which is not what you want with pistols. But a lot of these rounds have been gambles. It's just been kind of 0 for 3 in terms of picking the site they like. Seems like compLexity don't know if they have a new initiative to focus on a site when they have pistols, but it seems like compLexity are clearly set on clearing out the A site every single round on cash here on the anti-ecos. This feels like the site that they want to abuse throughout the rest of the game. I don't know if that'll change. And so especially now that you really are going to kick yourself if you decide to stack A and compLexity go B. You know, it's at this point where, what do? Do you quadruple down and decide to overstack A? Or do you, or overstack B? Or do you say, you know what, this is not working, let's go ahead and try to stack A? And then the third option, obviously, is to push, which is something else they haven't tried. So maybe a different approach to the anti-ecos in the first place would be good.
If they pull anything wild out, and once they get there again, if they go down there once more, but it's looking likely, because look at this buy. Not a pretty look for Envy whatsoever. At least they have that AK from Semphis. And a Famas on Cutler, but it's the flash into the squeaky door that Def will turn back right around. At least the flash is there this time. So again, calculated aggression, they go for it. Def is going to continue to be a nuisance here. I think so far he's consistently been inside squeaky almost every single round.
Mm-hmm. He is the squeaky man. That's the guy you see every day on your way to work, doing the same thing. You know, he's the guy who cleans out squeaky. That's his job. He's the sanitation engineer of squeaky.
It's a valuable job. It's an important role in society. Taking care of waste. It's half my job when I hang out with you.
It's not an easy job either. Squeaky is so dangerous, so scary. Everybody hates you on the other team. You know they're going to try to do funny antics to kill you. You know,
you're never an easy entry to get past that.
Exactly.
Well,
you're going to get spammed through the door even when you don't ask for it. You can also deal the damage yourself, but I think it's much harder to be a squeaky player than it is to deal with a squeaky player, because you have the safety of the A site, as opposed to be the squeaky player and try to have an impact. So it takes a brave player, a very smart player to put here, and it looks like Def has been handed the keys.
Unfortunately, they've also handed over the keys.
Oh, Semphis' gun is going to be...
in terms of the B site, it's
but
done.
There's no way this gets spotted. Oh, it does! Wow, Drone's going to watch the demo. He's going to see that, and he's going to think, I should have peeked out a little bit.
Yeah, should have.
You never know. He's obviously considering that. Okay, not going to be cleared. The other thing, though, is that when you're crouched, your model's a little wider. So if there's any spot that you can stand in where you don't have to crouch, you should be standing. It feels less safe, but almost always if someone's going to wall clear your angle and you're not by a box, then you might as well be standing just so that they see you a little bit later.
I think your head pops over that box if you're standing, though, no?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
so
it's one of those spots he has to.
It doesn't pop out over the box, but if the other player is on top of the rusty...
the dolly?
Dolly, yeah, thank you. Then he'll be able to see you for sure, yeah.
Dolly.
And that's why he needed to actually just pretty much just swing a little bit. Tough call to make, though. Tough call to make.
Nice to see attack pause in the early stages of the broadcast today. Yesterday we didn't get one until I think the 3rd or 4th match.
We weren't blessed with attack until the round 20-something on map 4.
Yeah, so we're 11 rounds in and we've got one, folks. It comes back in with another purchase from the CTs. They will still have only 2 pistols, but the difference between last round and this is, of course, the fact they have an opening frag, a 5v4 to play with.
Oh. They're gonna, Def is just gonna call that they have decided to flash into Squeaky. But with the smoke down at the back of it, I mean, I'm sorry, into A main, but with the smoke down at the back of it, there's not much they can do about it different. They're actually waiting to try to re-aggress, and Def can actually have the fallback. So if the 3 players that are coming into A main put enough pressure on here, Def can clean up.
But they're gonna go for the boost before that A main push even gets to go forward. So now if you leave it all on Tempest,
oh, whoa.
Whoa. That's some damage off the 5-7, maybe a little team damage into the back of the head of Ye. I don't know what happens there, but what's important is that it's going to set up Sempis superbly. He does let the first player cross and only clears the one with full health. So both the lit players have actually managed to stay standing, and they get headshots off of it. Drone just slips by into the back of Quad, so now he's going to stop the plant, and that's going to put it all on Ye, who unfortunately was already assuming an after-plant position where the bomb would not have been planted. And his job is now to retake this site, get the bomb in at some point, or just blast both these guys away. And he could do so, but he needs swift headshots, and that's not what's going to happen.
Not enough health, unfortunately, to clean up the both of them, but a good effort nonetheless. Yeah, Drone somehow made his way into Quad, just walking the whole way. Very close call. Strange play there from JDM. I mean, we saw that there was a bunch of T's waiting to come into A main. He maybe thought he would have at least a couple more seconds, but he was really pushing it with just, you know, smoke was dissipating. It's not like they came through the smoke, so maybe a little risky. Maybe he moved out with his pistol just to go a little bit faster, but ideally he moves across A main earlier than that. Sempis does a pretty good job of making up for it. Almost 2 kills in a bit.
Yeah, and more importantly, of the 3 still up, he takes down the one with full health.
Right.
So, sure, he lets players past, albeit those with low HP. Easy cleanup.
So they hold on to A. How does compLexity approach that now? It's in their mind, is right. Always think about the fact that a team is always thinking about what's happened to them recently and how they should change approaching it, whether or not they put that away for a couple of rounds or if they approach it right now. Here's a fast A main play. Might be a rush all the way out. Don't even know right now. The bomb's left outside A main. Ye's here making presence at B main, so compLexity have a significant amount of information everywhere except mid.
A little bit of a gap in that smoke, but JDM sees nothing for it. Does get Nifty up into the counter boost inside vent. It's always a fun little setup. Enables you to help out with mid, but Cutler's fallen off of Z. He's over towards truck with Sempis. They're floating between those 2 spots, changing jobs. I'm just waiting for compLexity to make their move, which seems like it will include Shazam with his op in mid. Nifty actually puts out the Molotov with his own smoke, so they tried to counter this position, and of course, this signifies the fact that he could be in it.
Oh my god.
Stand spam.
That is so annoying. That's so annoying.
You know, you put down the utility, you try to keep yourself alive.
You do everything right, you know? You spend every day working hard, thinking about things, doing it right. You did your job. You did exactly what you were supposed to do.
Stanislaw comes in guns blazing.
Running around a corner with an AK, spraying at full power.
So it's a good look for compLexity. Gives them that 5v4, gives them the mid control they'd hoped for, and softens up checkers. So while the defense is still split with 2 CTs per site, we're going to get compLexity gunning in for the fight. JDM ready to receive, and first shot goes wide. Drone has to reposition because he doesn't hit the head either, and with a fantastic flashbang, Drone manages to pick up 2 kills, but JDM still hasn't managed to hit a target. Luckily for Sempis, that was the rotator that threw the flashbang, I believe, and if not, he's at least cut down the bomb. Winning with the time.
They're happy to take that. That's a really nice holds from Drone in specific. I think if Drone doesn't get 2 coming out in front of the fire right here, then what do they do? Great flash, as you mentioned.
I'm not sure if that came from Semphis on the rotate,
It
or
was
if it
definitely
came from the back of the bomb site.
No, it was definitely on the, yeah, it was, so everyone's throwing the flash from the back of mid into over heaven.
Yeah, all
It's
right.
very standard play for your guy on default. It's just almost everyone has to be ready to throw that quickly, just so your B players can keep their hands busy.
Damage early on. Love to pick up Android, but Stan just pounces in through the vent with a double kill. That clears out the B defense, and now Semphis, throw all the flashbangs you want. It's not going to help out inside of the site where compLexity have managed to drop down bombs. So a really rapid pinch on that round, and props to Stan for really picking up the heat there and charging out through middle.
Yeah, it's hard to say what he'll do next, but you can kind of see what his line of thinking is there. They killed Nifty in the vent. The last round here, they decided, all right, let's not only do kind of a similar play, but let's do it in the first 20 seconds. So they're approaching fast mid. They saw that EnVy were not, they're kind of calling a gamble a little bit, because if they go towards mid, then they have to hope EnVy are not playing 3 mid, especially if they're going to run out lower.
But that could also play into a read, because EnVyUs have not had heavy mid presence at all so far on the CT side.
Yeah, and it has to be because they didn't go mid themselves to know that. They just, all they knew from last round was that no one was in A main and no one pushed B. And here, yeah, look at the confidence from Stanislav. The faster you move, the more you're able to catch people off guard. Second one comes easier than the first. Very tough position to be put in.
Yeah, back into one of these kind of quasi-buys with a couple pistol players in the mix of the full purchase. And then they go right into that 3-man mid setup.
We're going to push for info here. Oh, Nifty takes a big risk here, knowing that nobody jumps up. So now, I think he sees it as a free roam situation. Still going to be a little bit scary. Oh, there's a nice kill. However, bomb gets dropped on Android. Default's going to be called. He just falls off. Can't recover the gun, unfortunately.
Consistently applying that pressure. We talked about the susceptibility to the wall bang, and there's an example of it. Takes a shot to the face and drops to 2 HP. He knows one round through this will remove him from the equation. And Shazam, in a pretty similar boat, 39 health, keeps him soft.
Tender, moist, delicate. Baby wipes.
Not just for cleaning your face.
No.
JDM sees the proximity of that one. Does, of course, peek up and finds Ye on his foray towards Highway. Nice grenade. Oh! Oh, that's an impact!
He killed him with the incendiary. I've never seen that before, ever. Just in any... Seeing the icon was so strange. Oh, we've casted
we did two now this
kills
season.
at this point.
Like 2 years of casting Counter-Strike. Never do I get direct impact kills.
And within 2 weeks.
2 weeks of Pro League, and we've got another one.
2, yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. I'm all for that.
Oh,
that's
boy.
good stuff. Especially since he was on 2 health.
Yeah. Does the Molotov...
Does it do 2 damage, or did something else take him
want
down
to know
to 1
if
HP?
if it explodes into fire after.
Oh my goodness. Moral of the story is compLexity have not nabbed themselves a 10th, because Team EnVy hold on to at least one more.
That's not a moral.
What? Oh. Hey.
If I call you out, then the viewers can't, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And you can't get a tweet after. The moral of the story is make sure... Oh, wait, does it... Oh, it does explode after. That's so awesome. They
Does it hit him
sprayed death down
twice?
to 2 health earlier on in the rounds.
Maybe it hits him twice, because he had 2 HP.
Yeah, he had 2 HP.
And an impact does 1 damage.
No, it does 2.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. So if you hit someone with a nade and then... Bardoff always says this. If you hit someone with the max amount of damage... Or does he say this? The max amount of damage you can do if you hit them with the grenade... Oh, no, that's if you... That's to kill them if they're saving and they don't have armor, yeah. But I think the max damage you can do is 40 or 52 if you hit them with a grenade and they have armor, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe some of my nerds out there could clarify. Everyone spam 3 clicks Philip on Reddit. That kills him, by the way. He has just people every time something happens.
Yeah, poor guy. Let's use War Owl this time instead.
There we go. Bring him back.
Molotov behind the forklift, pushes Nifty up and above. But the unscope at the worst possible time just means he needs to refixate his attention onto Ye. Still the T's attempt to cross, but nobody's dealing with Nifty, and he is picking up complexity's players one after another. Still 3 more, and Android finally takes a chip out of the defense here with a headshot towards Highway, an additional kill thanks to Def, but the bodies just continue to stack up on both sides of the coin. There's no plant just yet, although Def is within the bomb site, and he's got Shazam to try and help him. They're wary of the flank. Molotov will prevent it if ever it was to come that way, but that's not the case. It's 1 on truck, 2 highway. Confirmed, of course, by the trajectory of the frag. There are still questions, because that's 2 bodies, not 3. And both these T's, unfortunately for them, are like boxed into this bomb site in such awkward positions. They're going to have to go on the offensive if they want to do anything at all. And that's not going to help at all. It is just 2 easy kills. Team EnVy with a 6th and a solid little end to their defense on cash.
Yeah, good way to clean up to close at the half. That's not too bad. 6 rounds is okay. Complexity had a great half in terms of the game they played. You could see the one thing I always love about Stanisla's calling is just how clear he is in terms of what he's trying to get out of a round. You can always see by the way his teams play, and it makes it nice for me as an analyst to look at that and be like, I know what he was thinking. And that's why I love watching him play, and I love watching his teams. And you could see the game plan was very clear, the way that they would approach the site, and then when they would turn up the pace and why, and then how they were bullying mid, how they were taking A on the anti-ecos. All of it made a ton of sense, and it got them a lot of rounds. So I think considering how good they looked, EnVy did a fairly decent job getting 6. And now we move into the second half. Complexity probably very confident, but EnVy certainly hopeful.
As they should be. I think taking over the T side of a map like Cash means that you are still capable of making this one close as could be. Get that pistol, convert your rounds. It's 9 all in a heartbeat. But of course, we've got to get there first, Mohan. Individually speaking, Complexity and Team EnVy, I don't think there was really all too many of us stand out. I think Android had a good game. He consistently worked out middle, used that highway split to be a fork in the side of the A bomb site. But no ridiculous carries outside of that.
Which is good to see sometimes.
Of course. Him and Stan, leading by example. Shazam is law.
That'd be a funny child.
Yeah.
For them to have. We have the technology. I think we can make that happen. Can't you? No, you couldn't do that, could you?
I don't know. I'm not up to date on my cloning techniques.
Okay.
And my artificial reproductions.
We'll have to report back to Anders and find out.
Let me figure out natural reproduction first.
What the rules of the simulation are. Let me figure out the normal kind.
So for the last 5 rounds there at the end of the first half, all belong to EnVy. Think of that. It could have been a different story, as we once sat at 9-2, or 8-2, excuse me. The pistol begins, and Team EnVy are going to go with the trio of boosted players. Actually, 4 boosted if you count drone inside of mid-main.
Oh, Android in a tricky position. Is that top highway smoke or truck? Flash is
I think it actually smokes off the bomb site from the rest of... We'll see.
Oh,
Android announces himself.
He didn't want to. He thought he was patient enough. He was like, oh, gotta just take this 1 kill. Stands on a big push.
Don't go to A. They decide to redirect through vent. Complexity have pushed forward. Def with a beauty of a headshot.
Clean.
Oh, a second?
Come on.
He could give us a 3rd.
Do it. No.
JDM's down. Not as crisp, but
Take your
still
time.
clean. Not as clean as Cutler. He manages another 3K, and we're into the 1 versus 1. These multi-frags have put the pistol on its head. And Semphis seals the deal.
What happened there? That was 3 clean ones and then Ye? Was Ye just one of the guys out vents? This was so nice, yeah.
I want to see, I would have liked to see Cutler's, because he's the one who comes from B main. He comes from B main, he kills Def, gets Stan and Shazam somewhere in there. Holy mackerel.
That's a good pistol round.
Some pistols can be so fun, but obviously not as fun once you lose it and are left with this sort of a situation. Big old save from Complexity, looking for the early buy.
So let's see what Complexity do on their eco rounds. They have actually, they've kind of played it like a like a rifle, which I'm never a big fan of. I don't know what they're doing on the A site, but it seems like they've got 3 people there kind of stacked up. And
what was that, about 50 damage?
If you have armor.
Oh, right.
Is that a 100 damage grenade?
Yeah, that was just dead.
Yeah.
Here, have a frag.
Have a frag. What are they doing on the A side exactly? So they've got 2 boosted on the box, I guess, so they can see over, and then 1 sitting default.
No, I think they're also standing on the ground.
Oh.
Just hanging out. The boys. Looks like I think they're holding an angle waiting for the walk around, so they're anticipating that somebody walks towards like fence/quad. And then they're all just going to fire off those pistols and do something. But
so here's the thing. So we've got Envy going to A main. The difference between them and compLexity was compLexity had someone go through. Look, 38 seconds left. B is cleared. So they've just want to go back at this point. They went ahead and scouted for information. It was a good call to make, and they're getting away with the same thing that compLexity got through a different avenue. But the outcome is the same. Now, Nifty's in a pretty good spot to get these kills. How many do you think that he gets, Connor?
3.
I'm going to go for 2, and then he just gets a ridiculous... Oh, never mind. What the... Didn't anticipate that. Little do they know it's known what they're doing. That's an interesting way to hold for exits. I wouldn't anticipate this.
And of course, if nobody actually ends up dying for compLexity, you've denied Team Envy the extra money. Hey! Howdy. That's a whole lot of bodies. Nifty. 1. 2. Oh. Needs the reload. Def gets on the offensive.
Let's see it.
Come on, Nifty. I got money on this.
Oh, he picks up a bigger gun. That was drone. Nifty still a chance.
Never mind. So 2 is correct, Launders.
Okay.
You win nothing.
Nothing. All right. You said money, but if you want to take that away from me, that's fine. So yeah, I think because you got hit by the grenade, it does 100. I don't know how much it would do normally,
just
though.
Right on his feet.
Yeah.
Blew up in his gut.
Boom.
You know, he cradled it.
An Orcnade.
An Orcnade, yeah.
Did you ever play Warcraft 3 mod?
Nope.
In 1.6, you get to level up your HE grenades as you killed more people.
Watch this collateral. Not yet. Shazam just with 1. Loses Def over the shoulder, and Shazam's just stuck inside the corner, but Drones walk right by. Unfortunately, fuddles with the op itself, and therefore hits the floor. JDM. Clutch. 1 versus 2. Spotting Stanislaus already. And changing position. This is an interesting angle. But it's not going to get the job done. He needs that bomb plan. Now he can actually just eject, so he finds himself out of a sticky situation, and compLexity are going to have to start asking themselves where the hell he got off to.
I've seen him win these. Remember his 1v5 on cash?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Right here. Started with
right
the red
here,
box.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen JDM not only in this position, but in a server. So it's always nice.
That's true.
A very welcomed return.
The Lounge Nation was waiting.
Very comfortably.
All the way leans back. Oh, just missing the timing here. Is highway going to be cleared? They know that this is a potentiality, but with Stanislaus having a teammate there in mid, he's not going to clear. Oh my God, did JDM not see that? Does it matter? Oh, that is so unluckers.
Wow. He sees the shoulder.
He technically saw him, but it was such a little part of him. Just thought it was, that's okay.
Could have easily been the forklift chair.
Even when he turned back, Stanislaus had just moved out to the wall, and then, or Android, or whoever it was.
Yeah, Android. Oops. Those do happen, folks. Counter-Strike is a game of milliseconds and millimeters.
But not millipedes. So we don't like insects.
That's very true. Or arachnids.
Yeah, spiders. Yeah. Even though they kill, it's nice that they can live in your house and kill other insects for you.
Yeah.
But I still don't like them themselves.
Yeah,
what about,
don't
like
get
snakes?
near me. Snakes? I mean, I'm not from a place where snakes are dangerous.
Thinking about like creepy crawlies.
Yeah, snakes
and like snakes are like actual animals. But I like snakes a lot.
I don't mind.
Super interesting.
I actually don't mind spiders. That was a lie. I said it for the sake of the broadcast.
What about
spiders are very useful.
Huntsman or whatever. Huntsman or am I just thinking of the knife? What's the big spider from Australia? Where's Chad? Freshly?
Nothing at all,
I just
Rush.
wanted to know what the most dangerous spider from your country is. Some Black Widows. Okay, they max out at Black Widows.
Yeah, there's nothing dangerous in Canada.
No, we're all good.
I mean, except
So
for
we get Black
bears.
Widows sometimes, don't we?
No, I hope not.
Hang out in the playgrounds, I heard. Steal the souls of little boys.
Is that your nickname growing up?
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Only when I would do drag on the weekends.
Yeah. This isn't supposed to be much of a round, seeing as it was just pistols, but we've got the Deagle pick and some solid map control. Because look at compLexity, the way they're split 2-2. I mean, I'm not saying they won't just cut down these Ts once they round a corner unarmored with 0 utility, but you're giving them more space to work with by laying down the smoke grenade. Now they're going to assume position inside of checkers, and at a moment's notice, compLexity are going to have to hold 4 Ts back from this doorway, and it all happens as Shazam's falling off of the angle. So there you go, 2 Deagle headshots thanks to Semphis, and we have ourselves a bomb plant with a 2v2 retake inbound. Never supposed to happen, and Semphis could even do one better because he's got his paws on an M4. His teammate's over towards checkers. Unfortunately, he peeks right into the eyes of Stan.
I don't know if that flash was supposed to blind Heaven, but...
Now Cutler has the bomb obviously planted in the open for him, but he's going to have to hit a couple zingers.
This is the other thing. The bomb was not planted for Cutler.
Oh, yeah.
And they had the 2v2. They just got on the site. Big flag was kind of unlikely. Semphis probably could have just planted. Like, default plant is not a good plant. It's just that maybe he thought if there was going to be a fast flank, they would have been unsafe. But they did have someone there to watch it, so I feel like maybe if you're going to play the 2v2 like that, they're relying very heavily on Semphis to get a kill, right? I thought that flash was a little funny, but maybe it was for... I don't know. I don't actually know.
Just seemed a little disjointed the way him and Cutler were working.
Yeah.
Right, the plant.
After those 2 amazing 1Ds as well to get in, I'd not sure what the thought was.
And some crisp ones. Looked like Def was trying to get up onto the Shroud boost, but he's already given it up. Look how patient Envy have gotten. They just fall into this very passive sit back. And they're collecting themselves. Semphis collecting energy so that he can get another couple head rippers.
Get some more reps in.
Probably squats.
Squats, yeah.
You think when Semphis dies, he just stands up from his chair and starts squatting?
When he... Oh. I was like, how could he do that if he died? But, yeah, I feel like that's a good way to take the edge off.
Additional smokes down on each side of middle, and Stanislaus going to walk through the smoke.
Oh my
Hopefully
God,
with a flash.
he's just literally standing here. Are they going to flash for him again?
Stanislaus.
He's got a man to his left, right? Oh, no. Oh, he doesn't. Oh my God, what's happening?
Drone.
What? How did neither of them see each other? Someone's pissed about this. But he's not going to see drone. He might hear him now.
Yeah. I mean,
he's got an off angle. Oh, beautiful.
Gnarly play
No,
from
another one.
Stanislaus.
Off angle. No. Whoa, just pushes that a little bit too far. And Cutler sees the side of his gun.
So good damage control here from EnVyUs. They've gotten that bomb back up, but now they're going to be walking into what is the 2-pronged assault between Def and Ye. Someone should have picked up a frag, but instead, Envy have to go charging in, and they need to charge all the way because there's no time to plan. They have run out of time, and that's the reason compLexity nab a 12.
That's one haymaker of a round from EnVyUs. That was, I mean, they had to do what they had to, or they had to do what they could after somehow Stanislaus sneaks past Drone, even kind of clears that area, misses Drone, and Drone misses him, and then moves on. I feel like there's a world where Stanislaus sees Drone, leaves him, and then goes anyway, but you saw that he just completely missed him, so unlucky for both sides. But then Stan makes the most of it, played that really well once he was out there. Knew exactly where the next frags were going to come from. The only small mistake he was, I guess, was not assuming that Squeaky could have been closer than he was.
Right, and exposing himself to that side as opposed to just playing along the wall.
Might have been, I wanted to see if he would get the third off-angle kill, because that's just sick, you know?
Minute error, but still picks up the round here for compLexity, so they will be happy with the result. That's twice now we've had one of these, you know, these crazy instances where it's like a millimeter makes a difference.
That's true. That's true. Round was over the round before, but Semphis got those 2 insane 1Ds to get the plant. So we know that miracles win games.
Double Deagle CZ Op and AK. That's the hardware Envy have to play with. I like that it's still heavy on grenades. But Ye's now on the forefront of this middle position, and he's got a teammate just over behind him. That's him and Android, actually. Only drone to contest. Envy, what's your move? You've got enough Molotovs to burn out just beneath. That would help JDM.
A little bit of a late mid. Always nice.
But the first molly misses the mark, so they need that second one. The second one has to go into the deeper of the two corners to get Android to move. Unless he decides to walk out on his own decision, which seems to be the case. I mean, he's got support. Seeing as Ye's on the other side of middle. We also have that Def player just over towards white box.
You think you can hear or no?
Deaf player, I don't know what I'm saying.
A deaf guy.
They're deaf, and you can say bad things about them because they can't hear you.
He's not doing sign language or you're an ass.
Shazam's got the boosted red box spot. Def is down off of the highway, so now Shazam is alone. And Nifty just hits himself a zinger of a headshot in mid. So Ye's fast flank could upgrade into the op, makes him a little more dangerous. But he's going to have to combine with Stan and pinch this site perfectly. Unfortunately for him, Stan already spotted out. He's going to be overwhelmed as two push in, and Nifty nails him from behind. A 3-round difference now as Envy take a pause, come in cool, and nab themselves a 9th.
Yeah, kind of just what they needed, I suppose. It was a good approach to mid, just taking it slowly. Like to see if that would work one more time. compLexity have only bought up pistols on this round, so you know maybe it's a round that they want to save for the next round. And I think overall, it seems like Envy now have a solid way to approach some of the more meaty, defaulty style rounds that will make up a lot of the game. And oh my God, Nifty just hit a collateral through a smoke. It's still a collateral if the second guy doesn't die, right? Technically,
yeah. The bullet did collateral damage. Another one of those kind of edge smoke plays, but Nifty not bested by it. In fact, Envy putting together the pieces here in this anti-half buy.
They have built a border. And it's looking good. Not losing players is going to be just as critical as winning the round. And mounting a comeback. And Def is just doing the Terry Fox route to be. Scenic routes. Do you guys ever do the Terry Fox run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
We used to...
Canadian...
In primary school, we would run up the entire CN Tower through the stairs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I'm from the country, so we just, run around our town.
That are so tall, yeah. It wasn't fun. I'm not proud of it. Well, I'm proud of it, but wasn't fun. Didn't enjoy it.
Canadian hero.
Yeah. He was a beast.
For those of you guys who don't know who Terry Fox is.
Terry Fox, yeah, explain Terry Fox.
He was a cancer survivor who had his leg amputated.
He actually wasn't a survivor.
Well, because he died?
From cancer.
Right. I mean, Right. Yeah, okay, that's a valid point.
But
Moral of the story is he had one leg, all right? He had one leg, and he started to run across Canada from coast to coast, and he never made it. But he did raise a lot of awareness and a lot of money during his time, and now it is tradition for Canadian kids to raise money and run for the same causes.
Yeah, we do in all of our schools. We do runs, Terry Fox
Canadian
runs.
Culture.
It's fantastic.
A Canadian hero.
Oh yeah, he's a beast.
It's all about Canada today. Poor pistol players. I feel bad for them, Launders. It's like watching toddlers versus fully grown men. Shoot. I can't handle this tension. I'm sweating like Natu. Because he's sick. Easy mode down. There's a 3-0.
That's
when you have a trio of 3 kills.
Got blue balled. The duel did not happen. Oh, it's gonna happen. Oh,
damn! All that build up, and he never even gets it.
And we were excited about the tension, but also excited for everybody to be able to get to witness a Zeus kill.
I see them. I feel like Zeuses are actually purchased more so in European Pro League.
Zeiss.
Zeiss.
I don't know.
Zeitgeist?
Is there a plural for Zeus? Is Zeus a pronoun? Because the god?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's a name,
Is Zeus never based off of an actual word? So then it would just be, yeah, it would have to be Zeus's.
It's like a multiple Thomases.
Did you say Connors?
Connors? Say Corners.
You say
That's
Corners.
how French people pronounce my name.
Oh, they call you Corner?
Corner, yeah. That used to be
wow.
my nickname growing up was Coin, which is the French word for corner. They thought they were funny.
Wow, that is funny.
No, it's not.
Oh, shoot. Accidentally reinforced that.
The flashbacks are real.
When someone dies, they call the coroner.
Yeah, that's true.
And when they need to harvest food, they call the coroner.
Why? What are you eating?
Harvest corn. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
that was a
harvesting
reach.
dead bodies.
That was Halo Reach.
Man, there's not much movement off of the entry kills. We've seen a clash and a fallback, and then Def gets adventurous. Something we never really saw from the CT side of Envy was that kind of deep, squeaky control. And I think that's a good example of, again, when you play a position on a certain side, you're good at playing it in the counter side as well. So Def finds the timing on his squeaky door, his beloved. Nifty taking out checkers will then clear the entirety of the B-bomb site and call for the bomb to come over. Can Ye disrupt anything before it actually gets here, though? That's going to be the question. Because he is close, and he will find Nifty, who had just finished his reload. But with Nifty dead, JDM doesn't feel confident in the cross, so it's a little more delayed. Enables the CTs to get closer, but that's fine because Drone's going to wrap in behind them.
Oh, he's taking hits to go quickly because of the time remaining, so the bomb gets planted, but Shazam can now push in to stop this, and it doesn't go down. There's no time left. It has to be Drone to fight here, and Def can just run away.
Again, another round by compLexity picked up thanks to the time.
Yeah. I mean, you saw Drone running, you're like, oh no, don't blow this, but then he has to move. And there was no choice. It was good. I mean, it was a good chess move by compLexity to push in to try to stop the plant because I think it was totally worth it. Throw one guy at it, you know? It's like there's no one to protect him. They know that Envy has a plant. There's literally no way he can die unless Drone gets into heaven fast enough. So you got to look at is it because they took too long to get set up to get into B in the first place? That was an interesting question actually, because Nifty got those 2 kills lurking into B by himself. So you know, maybe they should have had more time, but yeah, for some reason it didn't work out that way.
Speaking of Nifty, on a bit of a tear so far for Envy, 23 kills for him.
This round just break Envy if they lose. No, they've got some money left over.
Will break compLexity though. Tie this game up at 13, you'd assume. Middle control completely forfeited. How does that make you feel?
I'm okay with it. I think a lot of times it's very T-sided. It's just that once you give it up, they have to have another game plan. You've got to trade for a main control, or you've got to be able to have a plan for mid, and holding it with a Falmus is definitely not a solid one. They don't have an op here.
Yeah, and as well, it's like you've given up mid, which means you've essentially given up highway, which effectively counters Ye, who's boosted up on top of Shroud.
Yeah,
this is a really tough position to be in. I feel like you can see compLexity kind of shaking. They know they're in a pinch, and it's no surprise that Ye dies first. He was so susceptible to that mid play, but Shazam at least cuts down the numbers by 2, so it keeps us within the realm of possibility for compLexity, who have not shied away from the gunfights. Rapid push-up between Android and Stan, and they get this into an advantage. It is just Cutler with no utility and an AK honed in on the corner. They've got a flash and a Molotov. They could try to disrupt him, but he is looking for a headshot before he goes into the cover. Bomb is halfway gone, and there is still 1 kit on them, but it's a just jump across from Android. Then the fire goes down. Cutler's back into the open, and it works. A defuse for compLexity, a 14th round is theirs, and they'll avoid being broken economically.
Wow. Unbelievable that they actually pulled that off. It was a great split from Envy. It looked like compLexity were the ones who had all the holes in their setup. Just as you mentioned, as good as it is to be up on the boost, if highway is not secure, then that player doesn't get free kills. He'll actually die very easily to anyone coming up highway. And the only thing they had to stop anyone from coming up was Stanislaw periodically shoulder peeking with a Falmus, and that's not strong enough. So I think that the only thing the one thing they could have done actually was to just re-smoke highway. That would have made the round a whole lot easier, because then those players have to come through a smoke, or the A main guys come out first, and either of those are fine. But they weren't set up that well for that, and they still managed to win. Thankfully for Envy, they've got a little bit more money in the bank. They can go ahead and try again. Stanislaw here up in Ved's control, 3 at B, and mid has been, for the most part, given up. Stan, if he hears stuff here, is not necessarily just going to fight. But he's in a good spot if they decided to group explode B, for example. And so he can also rotate fast between A and B. Uh-oh. Oh, that's scary.
Jumps the gun, spots the barrel, and misses the shot. Luckily, Stanislaw is in a good position to immediately trade back, and middle's not actually under question, so he can keep his attention focused towards checkers, but that won't help Android, who needed some support in the back of the bomb site. Stan drops down, drone comes around the corner, and he can only manage himself 1 kill, so an afterplant, you'd think, but Semphis hesitant, because he's not entirely sure as to where he'll get peeked from or when.
Just really waiting for his reinforcements. I mean, maybe if they stay unnoticed for long enough, they could think that it could be a push into CT spawn. I'm sure Semphis is assuming at least 1 player is there right now, so at this point now, we'll just put the bomb down. Cutler has the vents to worry about, and they've got a full set of nades. They should be definitely throwing these.
First one goes into heaven. Cutler still with 1.
Nice.
And the kill. So Def on 12 health should not get anything at all, you'd think. But he nearly does find Cutler. Instead of going for the chase, we'll fixate on the bomb, and in doing so, Semphis takes him. 14-12. Envy also not going down without a fight, and even though compLexity picked up the previous round, it cost them everything to do so, Mohan.
Yeah.
So look at the money they're left over with.
Right, almost nothing. They're in tatters. They have they will have to give up this lead, basically. They're going to go ahead and stick to the USPs and P2Ks. Def, I think, spent a bit of money on his Deagle. Envy are now in full force. What do they do on the Antico? We saw them go use a scout to pick the site last time. Full default, we'll probably see this for 20-25 seconds before they decide to send anyone in to check stuff out, or if they're offering up a kill, it might help them speed up their decision, but they don't want to simply run into 4 guys in A just because they got 1 who pushed. So we'll see if compLexity continue to be aggressive. It seems like they're going to sit and wait. Stanislaw is going to check A main. I lied to you.
How could you?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Counts. Don't let it happen again.
All right, won't happen again.
You know what will happen?
What will
easy
happen?
A-site walkout, Launders.
Okay.
I would almost guarantee it.
This was like the better version that compLexity had, where they had mid control and had 1 person go up to highway, so they've got a lot of information. And if you can clear the boost, clear highway, clear forklift. His teammates probably want to meet him halfway at this point. Stan, gonna look for a 1 dig. Not that easy to do when they're not facing you. Can he make it a double?
Definitely been given chances. Multiple at this point. Still not punished for his attempts. The bomb does go down at the very least, and now it'll be a matter of holding on to it. Shouldn't be too hard of a job. But the pistols, oh my god, that scared me. The pistols can't close that gap. Not versus an op, not versus the AK of Cutler. Do all the damage in the world, but this one's gonna get cleaned up. So a 1-point difference. Woo! Man, that was actually incredibly costly, all things considered.
It was at the end of the day, yeah.
I feel like it just kind of started,
Some nice 1 digs in there.
Started just divulging into what was a bit of a slugfest.
Damn, Nifty's got 26 kills.
Yeah, definite hard carry coming in from Team Envy, and you know what? Cutler's just there behind him at 21.
That's true.
So
I heard Cutler has had like a new wave of motivation, greater than he's ever had. He's still intent on becoming the best player like that he can be. And he has, he's been around at this point, so that's kind of cool to be super motivated. But I hear he's always talking about, what can I do next to become better? Like, what should I be thinking about? So it's cool to hear. I think a lot of content should be made around that. You want to know what mental space your favorite team and players are in at all times, really.
We're staring 14-all in the face right now, Launders. Easy pickups for Cutler, so let's stat those I've
done
pad
that.
Those stats.
Well, how does that happen in our brains? I've done that so many times too.
Stat your pats, pat your stads. The options are endless, but at the end of the day, what's important is that nobody's died. except for Nifty, sure enough. But that's just going to aid Cutler in catching up to him.
14-14, another crazy game. Every single game yesterday was pretty nuts, and now we have another one to start off today. There are 2 rounds left in this half. Both teams are on their full buys. See that there is a specific amount of utility allocated just to HEs, so that could be quite interesting. 2 ops, Steph and Shazam. It's a scary combo to be opping. And nobody has a kit on compLexity. A bomb plant could win it.
And that would be Envy securing OT.
1 HP.
Wow. Hit him with a bottle. Slap him with a frag. Gonna be very tough as Shazam retreats into the safety of CT spawn. Don't blame him. Tree room. Good position to just fall off onto the corners. Forces Envy to walk by. And Android, the element of surprise, catches Nifty from the vent. 5v4 for compLexity now. And in the 29th round, Mohan, that is most certainly when you want it.
What's their plan apart from Nifty trying to lurk in a B? What do they have going on at this point? Got the vent molly. They've got 1 person to catch it. No one's there. They've cleared it out. Minute up. They can take the liberty of looking for maybe another, 20 or so seconds for a kill, but they've got to pick a side soon, and they haven't taken off as much utility off compLexity as they'd like, though there are still only 2 smokes here. ZA is now holding on to mid. No one's here to split, it doesn't seem like. Maybe Semphis comes out late. It would be, he has to pick his angles here, so it's not completely clear if he'll clear it. But they still seem to be worried about the vent.
Instantly. Android gets the assist, Yay for finding the kill, and Shazam is blindsided by Drone, who had already worked his way out into the bomb site. I mean, Shaz walks forward with 1 point of health. Just wanted the info, wanted to get that confirmation, and now there you've got it. Bomb is planted. And the 3 remaining members of Team EnVyUs are trying to get the majority of their men over towards checkers. The entirety of compLexity is actually coming off of CT spawn, so it'll be the Heaven and Tree split. And it's going to come off the back of a wave of utility. The smokes, the flashbangs now coming forward. Cutler from the corner, lines up 2, and JDM gets the 3rd. It is a mowdown from Envy. They have nabbed themselves that 15th. OT at least for them.
Wow. Yikes. That's really rough, isn't it? They had the 5v4. They had an op. They had 2 ops on the board. They had 5v3. They killed Stanislav. They killed Semphis at mid, like before the execute even came out. Then they had vent control. They had a man on the rotate. Shazam pushes out, gets killed early, so that is something. But there was a lot of outs. There was a lot of outs for them.
Do you think another out could have been not coming entirely through tree room? Because they had 4 players alive. They had mid control. Remember, they had 2 players in middle because they killed Semphis.
Yeah, they did have vent control, but they didn't use it. They had Yay kill the only lurker, and then didn't go for the retake by vent, but...
With Semphis dying in middle, it indicates there's 2 players mid. Maybe you anticipate 2 players coming through vent, therefore. And they thought compLexity would be ready for it, and not ready for 3 guys to come running out from lower. But, man, was JDM ever prepared. And well, Cutler getting a double kill from the corner made it all the easier. So Launders, we have a force up in the 30th round. compLexity trying to get at least a point with an overtime win/loss. That really does matter. And just for the confidence going into map 2, I mean, you'd hate to lose in this fashion. You're standing on the doorstep of victory, but it is shut in your face. And it's raining outside.
Wow, that is a tough spot to be in. Very uncomfortable. Do you actually have your Wellingtons?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Those are Billy boots, right?
Well, there's some solace then in that situation.
Solstice.
Solstice.
Def smoked off thanks to a teammate's nade. So they have no mid control. We talked about this, but you also brought up that if you're going to give up mid control, you need to get it elsewhere. And they have gone for a main control instead. Plus, you've got Yay working his way forward in Squeaky Door. So they're certainly hitting up the forefront of this portion of the map. Def would love to get himself a rapid headshot, but he comes up empty-handed, and Semphis continues on. We get the fallback from Squeaky behind Fort. Shazam peeks wide. That does get him 1 kill, but Drone's there immediately to trade frag. And so the CTs are starting to scramble. They're trying to get back into position of this A site, because if they can deny the plant again, that would be the 3rd time they have won a round off the back of this. Team Envy need to get this rolling here and now. And Stanislav throws himself into the middle, only to be dropped, so that Android has to clutch. And like you said, 18 seconds. He just needs to line them all up, and they are so close. Look at the headshots trickle in. Not that it matters at the end of the day. Envy, 16-14.
Yeah, they make it happen, man. Envy, this is a big win for them. That's kind of guts, because it seemed like compLexity looked very good, not only with a strong first half, but looked totally fine in the second. Even were winning rounds where their setup wasn't great, like that one round they got crushed on A, they still came out ahead. And so in these last few rounds, there's a couple of fluffs from both sides, time running out and so on.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, compLexity, man, hold strong. They went team back from 14-11.
We'll see if we can do that in a second map. It's coming up soon, folks. Don't go anywhere.